In the opening scene, Shuri desperately strives to find a cure for her brother T'Challa's mysterious and deadly illness, attempting to recreate the heart-shaped herb. Despite coming close to success, her mother Queen Ramonda delivers the heartbreaking news of T'Challa's demise. Devastated by the loss, Shuri, who believed she could solve any problem, mourns the death of her brother and the King of Wakanda. The entire nation mourns, dressed in ceremonial white attire. As Shuri bids farewell to T'Challa, a flying ship takes T'Challa's sarcophagus away. A year later, during a United Nations meeting attended by Queen Ramonda, the secretary expresses dissatisfaction with Wakanda's reluctance to share vibranium, their most precious and radioactive metal, to address global challenges. The French representative accuses the Wakandan queen of using vibranium to create weapons of mass destruction, highlighting its unique ability to remain undetected by metal detectors. In response, Queen Ramonda explains that they cannot, dismissing accusations of hiding behind noble altruism. Queen Ramonda counters the allegations of Wakanda engaging in weapon creation at a United Nations meeting. She acknowledges the global pursuit of vibranium for military enhancement, emphasizing Wakanda's steadfast policy against trading vibranium under any circumstance. Queen Ramonda clarifies that this stance is not due to the dangerous potential of vibranium itself but rather the potential dangers posed by those seeking it. She cites a recent incident where armed mercenaries attacked an international Wakandan communication center as evidence of the risks involved. In a French attempt to steal the metal, the Dora Milaje, highly skilled bald-headed female warriors, thwarted the attack, vividly demonstrating the power of vibranium. Queen Ramonda informs the assembly that intelligence exposing the orchestrating country's involvement in the attack will be sent to all member smartphones. The French representative visibly tenses up as the warrior women escort the French mercenaries into the meeting room, where they are made to kneel. The Queen of Wakanda addresses the assembly, prepared to address the unfolding situation. The Queen states that, for now, Wakanda will show mercy. Meanwhile, in the Atlantic Ocean, a CIA team utilizes a vibranium detector. Two divers descend to inspect the device and discover it has been damaged by an exceptionally hard mineral emitting a blue glow, vibranium in the ocean. Urging to retrieve the detector, as it's their only one, the divers head towards it. However, as they are about to secure the vibranium detector, they come under attack. An unidentified underwater creature stirs as a security guard on deck hears a mesmerizing choral song emanating from people under the ocean's influence. The hypnotic singing prompts everyone on board to leap into the water, succumbing to a sonic attack. Despite wearing earplugs to resist the enchantment, the head officers attempt to escape in a helicopter. Blue humanoids emerge from the ocean, pursuing the helicopter. Although the helicopter manages to gain altitude, it faces an attack from a flying man who appears to defy the laws of physics, spinning through the air. The flying man effortlessly tosses the 5-ton helicopter. Okoye and Queen Ramonda decide to return to Wakanda. Upon their arrival, the Queen finds Shuri diligently at work. Queen Ramonda inquires about Shuri's progress in restoring the sacred herb, but Shuri dismisses it as futile, stating that modern technology can offer more than a totemic plant. Shuri is dedicated to creating new armor for the Dora Milaje warriors. Following an old Wakandan tradition on the anniversary of T'Challa's death, Queen Ramonda leads Shuri to the water, where they burn their mourning garments. On the ocean shore, Shuri confesses that giving in to her emotions might lead her to burn the whole world to the ground. As they discuss, she declares, "It won't be these clothes I'll burn, but the world." Just as Queen Ramonda is about to reveal T'Challa's secret, a flying man emerges from the ocean with wings on his ankles. The women meet the stranger with a degree of animosity. The winged man introduces himself. But my enemies call me Namor. Namor praises the beauty of the lands in a friendly manner, expressing awe at the amazing place. He mentions that American military forces have discovered vibranium at the bottom of the ocean in his people's territory. The Americans use a specialized vibranium detector created by a scientist. However, Ramonda adopts an arrogant queen-like attitude and addresses Namor as if she were a state police officer, asserting that vibranium only exists in Wakanda.
Mother, he's covered in it.
Namor reveals that, since Wakanda failed to keep vibranium a secret, all nations are rushing to find it, and they will soon reach his kingdom. He requests Wakanda's help in resolving the dilemma by finding and delivering the scientist who invented the vibranium detector. Rhonda expresses reluctance, stating, "You do not sneak into my country and tell me what is fair." He hands them a conch-shaped flute, instructing them to blow into it when the scientist is with them. He assures them that he will appear instantly if they blow the conch and warns against telling anyone about him. Roger dives into the water and disappears. The Queen and Shuri notice the vibranium detector near their campfire.
How did he do that?
In response to the mysterious stranger's message, Rhonda convenes a council. Maku accuses the guards of missing the stranger's intrusion onto their territory, prompting a tense exchange. The elders, fearing Nayar's power, consider handing over the scientist to him. Watchful of the situation, Kamaru Usman suggests a more direct approach, but tension rises as the council debates the best course of action. Facing an enemy wielding vibranium, even without the Black Panther, the Queen makes the decision to send Okoye on a mission to America to retrieve the scientist. Okoye requests to take Shuri with her, and though Roma in Virginia, Bilbo Baggins goes for a morning run while Ross informs Shuri that the CIA holds Wakanda responsible for the attack on the ship in the Atlantic Ocean. Shuri promises that they will uphold their responsibility and work to resolve the situation. Successfully retrieves the scientist and discovers that the inventor of the detector device is a student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology named Riri Williams. The urgency becomes apparent as they learn that the U.S. urgently needs another machine, and Riri is the only person who knows how to build one. The Wakandans arrive at Riri's dormitory, attempting to convince her to come to Wakanda. Initially refusing to believe she is in contact with Princess Shuri, Riri, the student, recognizes the urgency of the situation when she realizes a winged, half-naked Mexican man from the ocean is trying to kill her. Reluctantly, she agrees to join them. Before departing, they visit Riri's garage to retrieve some drawings. The group also discovers that Riri has created an armored suit using Stark's technology. In Riri's garage, they uncover Stark's technology and various intriguing items, including her father's Ferrari. However, the FBI tracks them down, surrounding the building. The three girls make a daring escape. General Okoye drives the Ferrari, Shuri rides a motorcycle, and Riri takes to the air in her Iron Man suit.
He got an Iron Man suit!
As they evade pursuit, Riri ascends to a high altitude, successfully taking down a surveillance drone. However, the intense altitude causes oxygen depletion. In the fraction of a second before impact, Riri regains consciousness and resumes her flight. The drone falls onto police cars. However, Riri is ensnared by some kind of cable and crashes onto the road at Shuri and Okoye are thrown away by an aquabomb explosion, with the princess losing consciousness from the impact. As the blue people emerge from the water on a killer whale, General Okoye engages them in battle, delivering fatal blows. She handles 3 warriors before clashing with the underwater adversaries. General orders his people to confront the arriving police officers, and surprisingly, they obediently follow the command, charging into battle. Amidst the chaos, the Blue General defeats the Black General, hurling her into the water with an aquabomb explosion. Shuri regains consciousness and, revealing her identity, requests an audience with their leader. She asserts her status as the Princess of Wakanda and demands to be taken to Neo. The next morning, Ross arrives at the crime scene and encounters his ex-wife, Valentina Algra de Fontaine, who now serves as the CIA director. She leans toward believing that the Wakandans are responsible for the incident. Ross discovers Shuri's smart beads and discreetly pockets them. Upon returning to Wakanda, Okoye reports everything to the Queen, highlighting that she struck down 3 adversaries with fatal blows, yet they somehow rose again. She requests permission to search for the princess. However, in a fit of arrogance and anger, the Queen makes a foolish decision that could have consequences for all the years of peace and secrecy. In a surprising turn of events, due to her perceived failure in protecting Princess Shuri and keeping her promise, Okoye is stripped of her general title and shamefully discharged from duty. This drastic action serves as an example to others, a stark reminder that even loyal service to Wakanda may result in disgraceful dismissal at the slightest misstep. The elders, sensing the haste in the Queen's decision, implore her to reconsider. They question the Queen's actions, pointing out that she once raised a spear against her own husband for the sake of Wakanda. They suggest that her treacherous husband is now in a position where she can control him. The elders caution against making decisions in haste, urging the Queen to weigh the consequences carefully. The Queen then goes to Shuri's lab and communicates through Shuri's smart beads, with Ross answering the call. Ross informs her that the CIA suspects Wakanda's involvement in the incidents. However, due to Neymar's demand to keep his identity a secret, the Queen hesitates to reveal the involvement of the Atlanteans. Expressing her concerns, the Queen hints at a new world power in play. Ramonda travels to Haiti, where she discovers Nakia, potentially a key figure in the unfolding events. Nakia, now the director of a local school, is approached by Ramonda, who requests her assistance as a former spy to find and rescue Shuri. Expressing the urgency of the situation, Nakia heads to Mexico, where she locates a woman who encountered Neyar. The woman shares details of an incident reported in the newspapers. Meanwhile, in the cave, Shuri is adorned in traditional attire of the Maya tribe and offered fruits as a sign of hospitality. She is introduced to the mysterious world surrounding her. He proceeds to share his history, recounting an event in the year 1571 on the Yucatan Peninsula. Local tribes, plagued by hunger and smallpox brought by conquistadors, after a vision, discovered a mysterious flower. All members of the tribe drank a potion made from this plant, including Neyar's pregnant mother. They lost consciousness. However, upon awakening, something extraordinary happened. His wrath upon them unable to breathe on land, the tribe took refuge in the ocean, discovering that they had lost the ability to breathe air. Neyar was born in these circumstances with winged feet, granting him the unique ability to breathe both in air and underwater. Passed away, expressing her dying wish to be buried on their ancestral lands. When they returned to the shore to fulfill her request, they were horrified to find their people enslaved and their lands looted. The ocean dwellers took decisive action, eradicating the invaders. A dying Spanish priest had referred to them as the ocean, invoking his wrath upon them. Winged child, symbolizing a child without love. Neyar decided to keep this name, reflecting his lack of affection for the surface world. Despite this, Neyar refuses to hand over the student, citing significant risks. Shuri, undeterred, requests to see his kingdom. Neyar warns her about the dangers of descending without protection, explaining that hypothermia would set in almost instantaneously. In a suit acquired from the Aquanaut at the beginning of the film, they descend into the underwater world, discovering the breathtaking beauty of the realm called Talon. Shuri is amazed by the CGI-like beauty of the underwater scenery. The inhabitants of Talon greet each other with a hand gesture. As Neyar and Shuri navigate this enchanting world, he explains that it is made of vibranium, and in the depths of the ocean, he brought the sun to his people. Neyar reflects on his duty to protect this remarkable place. Meanwhile, Nakia prepares for her mission, navigating the mysteries tied to Neyar and the unfolding events.
Detecting a signal from Shuri's earrings in a cave at a depth of 140 meters, Queen Ramonda devises a plan, stating that she will blow into Neymor's flute to lure him out while Nakia rescues Shuri. When Nakia seeks guidance on how to proceed, Queen Ramonda instructs her to retrieve the princess by any means necessary. Simultaneously, Neymor shares with Shuri that the bracelet of his mother is made from a plant that saved his people. In a tense conversation, both Shuri and Neymor stand their ground, Shuri, adamant about saving the student without harm, and Neymor, unwilling to let her go. He even proposes an alternative course of action. Neymor proposes an alliance with Shuri to counter the surface world's relentless pursuit of vibranium. He emphasizes that without such unity, he would be compelled to attack Wakanda as well. With a final call of his flute, Neymor departs. After Neymor informs the Queen that Shuri is safe and in a location of her own choosing, Queen Ramonda persists in her unprecedented and foolish stubbornness, maintaining her challenging stance and making a request that defies the unfolding situation. Queen demands to be taken to Talopan, offering nothing in exchange. The Queen issues a warning, stating that if her daughter and the student are not returned, she will reveal the existence of the underwater civilization to the Americans. Faced with this ultimatum, Neymor finally loses his composure and threatens severe consequences. He warns that if the Americans try to find them or if he discovers a single warship in the ocean, he will kill the princess. He pledges to come to Wakanda, find them, and exact revenge. In the meantime, Nakia infiltrates the cave, eliminating guards as Shuri attempts to save a wounded individual.
Nakia urges Shuri to escape quickly, assuring her that she can save the wounded subject. Queen Ramonda, relieved, embraces her daughter upon their reunion, questioning if she has been hurt. Shuri, however, seemingly fails to inform her mother about the act of hostility that her actions have triggered, an act likely to lead to an invasion. Namor enters the cave and discovers a dying subject who informs him that the Wakandans have invaded their realm. Namor gathers his forces, setting the stage for a confrontation in Wakanda. Meanwhile, Nakia and Okoye discuss the unfolding situation and the potential consequences of the escalating conflict. In the aftermath of T'Challa's death, both sides suddenly notice a flood, triggering a battle. Shuri, in a flying ship, attempts to attack Namor, but he proves too fast, especially in the water. The conflict inflicts losses on both sides. During the fight, Namor flies to the palace and throws aquabombs, flooding the throne room. Queen Ramonda manages to save the student but loses her life in the process. Shuri arrives, and Namor informs her that the throne is now hers. Namor then departs as the funeral for Queen Ramonda takes place in Wakanda. In the United States, Valentina arrests Ross, accusing him of secretly leaking information to the Wakandans. When confronted about the beads, Ross reveals that he had them bugged before the mission even began. He defends the Wakandans, stating that they saved his life and are good people. Valentina questions whether he has considered the potential consequences of the Wakandans' actions. Ross, contemplating a world where the U.S. is the sole possessor of vibranium, shares his concerns. In Wakanda, Shuri completes her armor for the Dora Milaje, while the student Riri creates her own armor, marking a pivotal moment in their preparations for the challenges ahead. Stark. Shuri extracts plant cells from the gifted bracelet, combining them with her brother's DNA. Through this process, she successfully recreates the sacred flower of the Black Panther. Upon drinking the potion made from this flower, Shuri enters a deep sleep. To her disappointment, she encounters Killmonger in her vision. He explains that he appeared to her because they share the same feelings he once had: hatred and a thirst for vengeance. Upon awakening, Shuri refuses to reveal who appeared in her vision, keeping this encounter to herself. She channels her emotions into a powerful strike, sending a dummy flying like a volleyball, indicating the transformative effect of the potion. In a council meeting of the Jabari tribe, suddenly, a flying ship appears overhead, and a Black Panther makes a superhero landing. Maku, having decided to cosplay as Devon Larratt, tests her strength in arm wrestling but quickly realizes she's using steroids. He remarks that the determined woman has indeed brought a new dynamic to the tribe. Shuri gathers all the warriors and leads an attack with a plan to weaken Namor by dehydrating him. Spotting another vibranium detector signal, the people of Talon head toward its source, only to fall into a trap set by the Wakandans to lure them out of the water. The battle between Namor's people and the Wakandans unfolds on a ship and in the water. Namor engages in combat, while Riri, in her Iron Heart suit, confronts him in the air. Despite Namor's prowess, Riri manages to shoot him down, marking a significant turn in the confrontation between the two factions. As Namor falls, a flying ship catches him, and Shuri leaps into the same ship. The microwaves inside start roasting Namor. Nayar attempts to break the ship, but he is forced to fight Shuri. The princess orders the autopilot to head for the desert. Unfortunately, the ship crashes on the shore, and Shuri continues her fight with Namor on land. In a desperate move, Shuri clips Namor's wings to prevent him from escaping to the ocean. Namor fatally wounds Shuri by impaling her with a spear. Shuri's suit regenerates her wound, and she activates the ship's thrusters, toasting Nayar. As she prepares to deliver the finishing blow, Shuri has a vision of her mother, who appeals to her sense of mercy and asks her to show compassion. Meanwhile, on the warship, Talon warriors overwhelm the Wakandans, cornering them. In a crucial moment, a flying ship arrives with the leaders of both civilizations on board. Namor orders his warriors to retreat, and all survivors safely return home. Shuri, inspired by her vision, recreates the Garden of Sacred Flowers and gifts Riri her father's restored legacy, and Wakanda is now their ally. If the surface world invades their kingdom, Wakanda will come to their aid. While Ross is being convoyed to a detention facility, Okoye attacks the vehicle and frees him. Shuri arrives in Haiti with Nakia, who introduces her to her and T'Challa's son, a nephew of Shuri. Shuri smiles, realizing that her brother's legacy lives on in the young boy.